guys, so today we're doing a little experiment on my Cobra. We're actually running the ECHO on the side of a regular kayak. You'll see the stabilizers to the left and the right. They've been opened up. This one on the right is obviously inset a little bit more than my left because of the motor, but we're all good there. This is a factory Cobra Explorer, the upgraded seat. You see I pretty much roll light on this one. Do have a spare battery in the back, 56 volt ECHO Powerhead. I did black out the leg to keep the shine off of it just to see what happens. This is pretty much it. I am running light today. Again, this boat's right around probably 11 feet. It's super light. It's like probably 50 pounds if that, but man, does it paddle well. Great boat. Beyond that, we'll get some live action here in a minute and go from there. All right, let's see what happens. All right, guys, so you can kind of see we're cruising now. I don't know how fast we're going. I'm certainly not wide open. Now we're on a Cobra kayak, which is super light. And you'll see kind of like right here, I definitely would extend the tiller, no doubt, but this is just a trial. And my prop, I don't know if you guys can see it in the water there. It's right above the weed line. Actually, sorry, right below the weed line. So that's gonna be a mission to keep that weed off. It's gonna be more drag than I want, but nonetheless, we're gonna see how fast this thing can go. I'll clear it every so often. Okay, this is wide open. Now these power heads have a little bit of an RPM limiter on it. You'll hear it kind of bog for a second. That's just because I'm wide open. It does that to save the battery. So I'm just gonna kind of keep it right under. It's moving out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and run out to the lake now. We'll give it some speed here in a second. Now remember, the startup noise you hear is just because of the mount. It vibrates a little bit on the mount because I forgot to bring my piece of plastic on my mount to hold the collars correct, so they kind of rattle. I'm not worried about it. And remember, this is kind of barely in the water here. It's kind of like skimming the bottom of the pontoon. It is. It's cruising. I do not know how fast we're going, but I definitely know we're going 5. Done this enough to pretty much gauge it. So I pulled off a clump that literally went from the bottom of the gearbox all the way up to, I don't know, a couple inches out of the water, and that prop didn't even have any weed on it, which is interesting. That type of two blade, I don't know if you guys can see it down there, but that type of two blade just minces the grass, which is a good thing. So you have no hang-ups, you have no torquing of the prop, which is good. So as you guys can see, I'm just kind of resting my paddle just in case, you never know. We'll do a whole shot here once we get out to the lake. I mean, look at all this weed, guys. This is crazy. I mean, this is inches and feet deep. Yeah, you can see it's just gonna drag. So I'm gonna let it drag and just see what the performance is. I'm sure it's gonna slow it down a little bit, but that's all right. All right, so I'm gonna get out to the lake. I'll pick it up on the other side, unless I find something interesting. All right, guys, we got a whole shot here. So I'm gonna run this thing wide open. We're about I don't know, half a mile from the lake. So I'm gonna run this to get some clean run time on this. The weed looks like it's subsiding. So you guys can see this thing in action. Super calm. We're right under full throttle. It does have an RPM limiter, so I'll show you guys what that does. Here's what the RPM limiter sounds like. So I'm gonna run this thing again full blast. And you'll see once it peaks out, it'll back up a little bit, provided there's nothing obstructing the prop. I mean, we are cruising right now. I have no idea how fast I'm going. No drag on the prop, as you can see. There we go, RPM limiter kicked in. All right, so we made it out to the lake here. I don't know what the battery is. We're gonna check the battery now. I have no idea if I can hit this. Okay, so we're on 1. We got about 1, looks like 1. Yeah, looks like we got about a quarter left of the battery. So right now I've been running this thing wide open. And I would pretty much safe to say that we're about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 miles away. So I would gauge that we probably can get 3.5 to 4. Right now it's about 10 o'clock. So we've probably been running 30 minutes. So I got about a quarter of a battery left. But remember, you're gonna be paddling most of the time and just, you know, kind of messing around. But if you're cruising back in and you want to get 3 to 4 miles with no issue, no batteries, no wires, well, that's the way to go. So I am going to run this thing to depletion and see how far I've gotten, and then I'll map it and we'll go from there. But I think I'm pretty safe to say that we'll get about 4 miles, maybe a bit more. So we're in the lake now. All the weed's been taken off, so we're running clean speed right now with no nothing dragging behind us, in other words. So we're running top speed with no RPM limiter kicking in because we're not dragging anything. Usually when it's dragging weed or something, the RPM limiter will kick in just so you can knock it down a couple 100 RPM. All right, at this point, we have no charge left in the battery. I am not swapping the battery because my battery got wet. I totally forgot to put it in a dry bag, put it in my black bag, and, well, you know how that goes. So anyway, so we're out of juice here. We got about 45 minutes on the pack, and safe to say that we probably ran 4 miles, right around 4 miles. Top speed was 5.0, dragging pontoons. Of course, there's the pontoons, and that definitely slows us down. I could have easily ran without the pontoons, but I figure, what the heck, let's just see what goes on, you know, as far as how much slower we're going to go. But at this point, I could safe to say we're probably hit 5.1 to 5.3 with the electric. Probably even get a little bit more runtime on it just because of the torquing of the stabilizers probably uses a little bit more power. It's a 4 amp hour battery. If I would have had my second one in a dry storage, I'd be flying home right now. But of course we're paddling now, and anyway, it worked great, no complaints. Got good speed, duration, time, and that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it.